All right, everybody, we're going to get started now. Looks like we got more people still coming in, but that's okay. Again, all of these webinars are recorded for future reference. We'll also email follow-up and send you guys a link to that once it's available. Just wanted to say hello and welcome, first of all, to another installment of RunSignUp's EE webinar series. That's Endurance Event Education. I'm Matt Avery, and this week I'm going to be going over with you some of our basic tools for timers that they need to know how to use if they want to utilize our results and RaceDay platform to its fullest extent. So basically today what I'm going to be going over is a lot more to do with the management of your database than the actual fun wow tools, because in order to use all of those fun features, you really have to make sure that you have a good, solid, clean database. So today what I'm going to go over with you is first importing participant information as well as managing participant information through the dashboard. Now this is important just because I've seen a lot of timers who end up with really messy databases, and because of that, they're not able to use all the great stuff that RunSignUp has available to them. So after we talk a little bit about importing participant information as well as managing it correctly, we're going to talk a little bit about bib assignment options. This is another sticking point I have with timers. It's different assigning bib numbers in the cloud than it is assigning it through a spreadsheet or through any one of your scoring platforms. So we're just going to talk about the different options that we have available to you there. And finally, I'm going to briefly discuss our RaceDay results application because it's one of my favorites, and it displays a lot of our new technology that we have in terms of offline syncing capabilities for on-site results platforms. And then after that, we're going to go into questions that you guys may have for me. All right, so we're going to get started with importing registrations. All right, let's see if I can get rid of this. Okay, great. So again, let me know if you guys can't see anything, if you can't hear me. If you have any questions, feel free to type them into the questions field on your right. And without further ado, we'll get started here. So importing participant information obviously is very important from a timer perspective. A lot of race directors won't do this on their own and kind of expect timers to do it for you. So I'm just going to go through it really quick here. You can find this on your race dashboard under Participants, Import, or you can always type it into the search here, and it'll bring it up either under Participants Import or under Go RaceDay, RaceDay Registration Import. So the one thing I want to talk about really quick here is when participants are imported, it looks different on the dashboard. When you're running reports, an imported participant will show that they have not paid anything because they didn't. Now what you can do is you can record an offline payment amount and that you've received it, but that doesn't show up in the amount paid column in RunSignUp. So that can be a little tricky. All you need to know is that when you're viewing participant reports, there's an additional column that you can include in the report that holds this offline payment amount. And the reason behind this is because we do all of our financial reporting based on the amount paid column. So if we added in all of these extra offline payment amounts, all the finances are going to be wrong. So just so you guys know, that's how that works. Whenever you import anyone, it's going to show 0 as an amount paid. And another thing, if you're using any of our scoring platform integrations, all participants that are uploaded through that show up as if they were imported, just like as if I was typing them in here. So that's why I'm going through this, because it will apply to any imported registrations through the web as well as any uploaded registrations through RunScore or AG or the Race Director. One other thing that a lot of people don't know about is that if you need to have accurate registration dates, a lot of people don't like to upload files to RunSignUp because it will say that they registered on the day that they were imported. What you can actually do is use this link here, and it will allow you to import registration dates as well. You do have to be careful. Some scoring softwares it will change the way that imported registrations are pulled down. So just be careful with that. But if you do need to have an accurate representation of when people registered for the reporting side of things, you can do that here. One thing I'll use is this sample CSV. It gives us just a basic spreadsheet that I can fill out so I can show you guys how this looks when we process an import. Oops. Let's try that again. So you can type everything into these fields, and when you select events, it will pop out the questions that are applicable towards those events. You can also upload the CSV, which is what I'm just going to briefly show you here. When you do this, what's nice is if you have an event column here, and let's say in this race I have a 5K and a 10K, but in my spreadsheet I've got 5K run and then a 10K run. And when I import this, what's going to happen is it will allow me to actually define what those mean. So all of these fields are going to be mapped almost automatically. If you need to change anything, you can. My event was already mapped here. And so I'm just going to say this looks good. Hit continue. My dates are in that format, so I don't need to worry. This is what I want to talk about. Whenever it runs into an event that doesn't match exactly what's in this dropdown, it allows you to map it. So if I had 5K run imported from my spreadsheet, I can just select the 5K, and I can just select the 10K. So even if you have multiple ones of these, like if a race director sent you a spreadsheet full of, 5K lowercase r run, 5K run period, and so on and so forth, you can map each of those rows. Just some settings here. This is the next thing I want to show you. If you have shirt sizes that differ from the value that is mapped in the database, you can map it here. So small means adult small in my case. And then you'll see that things just get filled into these fields, and now I need to import the participants here. I can send registration confirmation emails, which is really nice. And then I can also override participant caps if you have them, and some other features. If you've imported a bunch from a spreadsheet, you can always add additional ones one by one. And once you're finished, you can just click Import Participants. And we jump into the management side of things. So I'm going to back up just a second here. This is really an important part, and a part of the process, and I'm going to show you how to get there. So if you're back on the dashboard, if you go to Participants, View Participants, this will give you a view of all of your registrants. If you ever need to change years, you can do so here. Now, the one thing I wanted to show you was if you have multiple imports, you can delete them one by one by going to Report Options, View Imports, and then you can click each import name here, and it'll pop out this import management. You'll see it has the ID of the management here. And then what you can do is delete the import if you need to. So if you accidentally uploaded some people you didn't intend to, you can delete the imports in batch by batch, one by one. So that's really useful just to know how to do. One other thing I wanted to show you quick was to the right here, you have these options to manage registrations. Now, you guys won't see this profile one. This is an admin only feature, but the management side of things is really useful. You can do things like switch the event, start a bib exchange to change their bib number or their registration, excuse me. You can manage their group team association and do all these other different things here. You don't really want to edit participant information unless you know exactly what you're doing, because this does adjust their profile if you're working with a live participant. So if they have other registrations, those will be affected too. So you never want to change John Doe to his wife Jane by editing his information. What you want to do is start a bib exchange to transfer their entry to another person. All right, so the next thing I want to go through really quick here was when you're on this participant search report, view participants, one thing that's really good to understand is how with participants, when you manage them and you transfer them to another event, or you remove them or you refund them, what happens is that the registration itself doesn't go away. It just essentially gets archived. So even if I switch an event, it creates a new registration for this person, and the original registration is archived. So what that looks like is if I go into my search/change event here, and I search all fields, I can open this up to any or refunded, transferred, cleared, deferred, deleted to see the status of other entries. So this is really useful if you need to get a big picture view of all of the changes that happened. So you'll see all these people had gotten transferred or moved, and you can customize this view to see the status, the registration status, so that you can take a look at what happened to these people. So this one was cleared, these ones were active, and so on and so forth. So that's just really useful to know how to use if you need to do some research to see why your event numbers changed, so that you can see, oh, it looks like there's a whole batch of people that got deleted or transferred, and then you can find out why that may be. All right, that's enough for importing and management of the user information. Next, I'm going to go over bib management. So let's take a look. First, you need to go to Go RaceDay and then bibs and assign bibs and chips. So we have a lot of different options here, and they can get very confusing. So I recommend going through these and trying them out just to see how they work. You can always clear assign bib and chip numbers if you mess something up. So we're going to start with the assign bib numbers at registration time. So this is really nice to set up in advance for a race, so that bib numbers are automatically just assigned to. Sorry, I'm just noticing some questions coming in. More than one participant file can be deleted at a time. You have to do them individually, one by one, Chuck, but you can do them one by one. Sorry, back to the importing of bib numbers. So you can assign them at registration time, and you can do it for each event that you have, and you can have 2 ranges for each event. Additionally, if you have corrals, you can do bib assignments for a corral, and you can also share a bib number pool with other events. So if you want to, you can have the same bib ranges being applied towards all events, or you can have them being unique to each event. Additionally, you can choose to assign bibs to people who have already registered here. So what's nice about that is you can, a month into the race's registration, automatically assign the bib numbers, set up your ranges and how it will work, so that every person from there on out will be assigned a bib number according to these rules, and you can also assign in the same rules to those who have already registered. So that's assign bib numbers at registration time. Assign bib numbers automatically to participants will just go and do them by a bib assignment policy. You can either do it by last name, first name, address, or registration date. And you can decide what bib number you want to start at. So if you need to assign the 5K first, then the 10K, you can just assign the 5K, click assign, and then change your starting bib number, check the 10K, and assign it there. So you can overwrite existing bib numbers if you like. By default, that is not checked. And there are a few other settings here as well that you can do. Next, I'm going to go over manually assign bib and chip numbers. This is a pretty simplistic report that lets us just type in bib number or chip number into a field, lets us search and assign quickly there. Oops, went too far back. Next is import bib and chip numbers, which is the most powerful and most important one you can use. Now, what's really great about this is if any of the other assignment features don't work for you, you can always import them. And the way that you do this is you need to have the registration ID from the participants that you're assigning bibs for. So to get participant registration IDs, all you need to do is go back to the View Participants report here, click Export Options, and download all as CSV. And so this will give you your registrations along with this very, very important number, the registration ID. So what you can do is just fill in the bib number here, and then just upload back into the assigned bib and chips. Has to be a CSV file, and it will just put those right in there. So the one nice thing about this is that you can give duplicate bib numbers to multiple people if you want to. If you're doing relay team registration and you need to upload bib number assignments to them, you are able to do so through here. And that's been very helpful for me and for some timers that I've worked with. So that's good to know, especially if you have a very strange bib assignment policy, like if you're doing a time trial or something like that, where it's not first name, last name, or registration date. Again, you can clear assigned bib and chip numbers. That's pretty self-explanatory. The assign through quick participant report is very similar to the manually assign, but it just brings you to the check-in report, which gives you a little bit more features. You can change events through here, you can check people in and assign bib numbers that way as well. The last one is the setup group/team bib assignment. If you have a race where you have the group/team setup started in RunSignUp, you can allow it to automatically assign the group bibs. Again, you can have two ranges. You can have one be the primary range or the other, and you can decide what group types this applies to. And then when you do this, you can set bib number on existing groups that do not have a bib number in a similar way that you do for individuals. So like I said before, this group/team, there's no way right now to upload to it directly because it is a second column in RunSignUp. Just be aware that it's not going to overwrite individual bib numbers. So you can have a group/team bib number that is different from your individual bib number. So just take a look at this. If you are doing groups and teams, see if this works for you. If it doesn't, you can always use the import bib and chip numbers to import numbers to the individual bib. So most scoring software will regard the individual bib as the relay team bib or as the group team bib if nothing exists in the group/team bib column. All right, and then what we're going to do now is talk quickly about bib validation. So what this does is it allows you to set ranges for 5K and 10K or any event that you have that are legitimate. So if I know that the 5K is from bibs 1 to 100, and then I have some leftovers from last year, 900 to 1,000, and the 10K is 101 through 200, and then 1,001 through 1,200, let's say, I can set a bib validation range there. And what that will do is, if you use the RaceDay check-in report, it will not allow you to check people in to the incorrect bib ranges. So that's nice. You do have to be careful with it because it does not work with offline check-in, because it's if the two apps are not completely in sync with each other, they obviously can't see if the bib number has already been assigned and so on and so forth. So just be careful with that setting, but know that it is there to use. We just added a new option here actually the other day that prevents reassignment of bibs for non-active registrations. And what that means is that in the past, when someone is refunded or deleted from RunSignUp, their bib number is automatically added back to the pool for auto bib assignment. So if you don't want that to happen, you can just check this box here. Last part about bibs is really cool and really powerful is the bib label maker. So this is pretty cool. If you haven't used it yet, please take a look at it and try it out. It's pretty simple to use once you understand what it does. You can just type in anything here, and that will show up on the label. And then if you type a question mark, it will drop in a field on the right here that you can select. And there's all sorts of different things here, so I'm going to add fundraiser name to this. You can change the bib label order in any of these ways here. And then we have 3 different label types, and that covers most of the ground that I see timers use. And you can also do this, by default it goes across, so it starts with 1 and then goes to the right and then 2 and then 3. If you want to go the other direction so that it starts and just does each column at a time, so it goes 1, 2, 3 down, you can output a full column before moving to the next column. I'm going to get some more information here by using last year's data. Add my fundraiser back in, select it from the drop-down, and generate labels. Now the most important thing here is that you must print it 100% with no margins, and you must not select the auto-fit option. So I'm going to show you what that means just quickly in Chrome. Things are different in here in different browsers, so just be aware to check your printer settings. This fit to page is sometimes automatically checked, but you do not want that. Otherwise, things are not going to work with the sizing for your labels. So that's just good to know. All right, we are running pretty close on time here. So the last thing I'm going to go over real quick is I'm going to go over the RaceDay results application. There's a lot of different cool stuff that you can do with RunSignUp results if you have a well-managed database and you have bib assignments that work and you didn't duplicate all of your participants. So these are kind of the candy at the end of the rope. If you do everything correctly in the beginning, you can open up the door to things like photo integration, video results integration, finisher certificates, email results, all of these fun things. So my favorite one is this results application, which I really like a lot. And what's great about this is that it is offline syncable, which means that you can set up these as kiosks. We have them working in the web. We have them on Android and on iOS. So you can have all sorts of different devices out there to use for results presentation. And what it does is if you lose internet connection, it will allow you to still search through the existing results. And then when you get internet connection back again, it will refresh the data and bring in those new results. So I don't know about you guys, but I've worked many races where I suddenly dropped my cell connection and all of my results, systems went down and everybody's frustrated and it's not good. So with this, it's really, really nice. You can at least still search through the existing results while you work on getting your cell reception back up. So one thing you should know, if you're testing this out, it does not automatically pull data periodically if it's not on RaceDay. So we have this setting, if you click the logo of the race, that opens up the settings menu. This poll for results setting is off unless it's the RaceDay. So if it's RaceDay, this is on by default, and that means that it's going to be pulling for new results every 30 seconds, I believe, is what it does. There's also some really cool features in here. This auto clear search is really nice if you want to set up a one of these as a bib kiosk, so that what you can do is just type in a bib number, and if it matches one, it brings it right up, and then within 5 seconds, it will just go right back to the full list. Again, you can just search for a name, and it will bring up those. This one looks like it had an exact match. This is nice. It searches through all different events. So if you notice with this particular race, there is a Jack in the Kids race and there's a Jack in the 5K. So you don't have to worry about having separate kiosks for each individual event that you have. You can also just click and it brings you to it. This will display splits. It'll display your age groups, divisions, and everything like that. There's also the ability in the settings to change the way that it's displayed. If you want it a little bit smaller, you can do a list, or if you're old school, you can do it plain. I like the large. It looks a little bit better on smaller screens. And then there's some settings for display, the search, age groups, and so on and so forth. So that's just a quick overview of the results app. I think we are running into the Q&A time. So if you guys have any questions for me right now, we're going to spend about 30 minutes or so going through questions and answers that you guys have. So if you have a question, feel free to type it in now and I'll get it. And Chuck, did I answer your question well enough for the participant imports being deleted at a time? Tommy Bailey's asking if there's a way to lock and secure the results screen so participants can't click away and go through other browsing options. We don't have the ability to do that from a web application, but there are ways. I found it's a Chrome app that allows you to lock down Chrome so that it displays it in full screen, and it hides the cursor, and it does a bunch of other different things that you can do, basically to lock it so that you can't go away from anything. You have to do I think it's Control K or something like that. And I actually created a video about that. So Tommy, what I'll do is I will send out a link to that video with the setup in the follow-up email that we send. Any other questions? Hey, Jim. So this is just results.runsignup.com. I'm not sure exactly which one, the results kiosk you were talking about. If you have any suggestions on the way that it works usability-wise, definitely let us know, because we will be working on enhancing this very soon. This is going to be one of the first ones that we have to renovate because some of the underlying code structure has been updated. So fairly soon over the winter, we will be updating a lot of the functionality here. So Jim, definitely let us know if there's some stuff that you want to see there. Anybody else? All right, sounds like there aren't too many other questions here, so we're going to go ahead and end the webinar unless you guys have anything quick. So again, if you missed part of the webinar, we do record this, and we'll be emailing out to all of you a link to find it once we have it posted. I'm sure that in the future we will be going more in depth into some of the more advanced tools like our photo integration, our video results integration, finisher certificates, and so on and so forth. But hopefully today you all learned something. This is very essential stuff that you guys should know in order to make everything smoother in the end so that you can use some of our really cool wow features. Oh, here's a question that just came in. I'll grab this one. So Robert is asking if it's possible to link the results lookup to a web page as a widget. So do you mean embed that into a widget, onto a web page? Yeah, I don't believe there is a way to embed this. You really don't want to embed this. What you'd really want to do is in the race dashboard here, you can create a results widget and use that. There's no way to do this one, and you really wouldn't want to, because this is really just meant as an on-site kiosk. So what it's doing is it's constantly pulling down from the server, and it's not really meant to be used as a display on a website. It's meant to be just used on-site. So what I would recommend for that is creating a widget in your dashboard. And Robert, I don't know if you've already seen this before, but I'm just going to go through it quick. So you can add a race results widget, call it results, save it, and you can drop this into any kind of website. I'm just going to see if I can find a testbed that works. And it'll drop in this. You can change the widget display settings to get rid of all of this stuff up top. So we can talk about that later if you want to. Email me separately, Robert. Anything else? All right, well, I'm going to be signing off now, guys. Thank you for joining me. Again, our upcoming webinars, we're going to have RunSignUp 101 on November 9th, RaceJoy 101 on November 16th, and then RunSignUp 202, Payment Reports, December 7th. And then as new features are added, we're going to be adding some more 301 webinars as those come in. So thanks again. I'll see you guys soon. If you ever have any questions for me, you can always email me directly. My email address is avery@runsignup.com because we have too many Matts in the company. Have a nice day, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.